Behind every BP fill-up, thousands of people across America go to work every day. People producing energy offshore. People turning it into products at our refineries. People doing R&D to make products that are better for your engine. People trading and shipping fuels to their destinations. And the people who help you at one of BP's growing family of retail stations. They're part of the more than 300,000 jobs BP supports across the country. Learn more at bp.com/investing in America.
All right, it's Coyote Mosley of the Black Sports Insiders as well as HBCU Legends. I'm here with Coach Daryl Steward on the line from the HBCU Legends podcast. Coach, how you doing, man?
Doing well, Mr. Mosley. How about yourself?
Doing good, Doc. We are here. Can you believe it? We are in week 12 of college football, man. Wow. I mean, we were just sitting around talking and hashing it out and talking about what was going to happen with NCCU and Alabama State, right? And Norfolk and FAMU. And now here we are about to wrap up the season in a couple of weeks. How do you feel about it, man?
It's been an interesting football season. You know, some of the teams that we thought would win it or be at the top are not there. So it's interesting to see how these last couple of weeks, how to play out.
Yeah. Guys, we want to hear from you guys tonight. Go ahead and put comments in the chat room. Let's hear from you. We want to understand where you are coming from. What's your fan base? Who are you? I know we got Jackson State fans. We got FAMU fans. We got everybody who want to be known. But before we even go any further, man, it's Veterans Day, number one. And my father, that's why I have this flag in the back. He was a veteran, and as well as like four of my uncles, and I even have an uncle, Coach, goes back to World War II, and I have his rifle in my closet, man. So all you veterans, we honor you guys and thank you for your service. And we also had an unfortunate death that occurred. The Mississippi Valley State football player Ryan Quinney, he passed away due to a fatal car accident that happened the day before the Devils were supposed to take on Jackson State. So prayers to him, his family, and everybody who was associated with the Mississippi Valley State team. Coach, how do you feel about that? What does that do to a team, you know?
Yeah, it's devastating, man. Right before a big game, you know, one of your players, you know, get into a car accident. It's just devastating not only for the players, but for the coaching staff as well. You know, these type of things can tear a team up, Kyle.
Yeah.
Just got to be prayerful, and our prayers are with the Mississippi Valley State family, and hope nothing like this happen again.
Yeah. Let's hear from Coach Wade.
I can't begin to tell you how much it's meant to me, meant to this program, for everybody who's reached out to us, to my brothers on this call, the coaches who've reached out, calls and texts, Eddie Robinson, Coach Maynard, Coach Hamp, Coach Thomas, Mickey, that's to name a few of those guys. Of course, TC and I had moments before and after the game. So thank you guys for that. It just kind of reminds us on why we do what we do. You know, it's bigger than football, and we get paid to beat each other, compete against each other, but just to get those calls and texts meant everything to me. And I just want to say thank you guys for that.
Yeah, definitely the fraternity of coaches reached out to offer comfort, words of encouragement to not only Coach Wade, to the families as well. I think all of the coaches on the SWAC coaches call today did offer their prayers and condolences to the Coach Wade as well as the family. Coach, you are a part of that fraternity as well. How does that make you feel as a coach to be able to know that your fellow comrades in arms are caring about you beyond what's happening on the gridiron?
Oh, yeah. We go to war every Saturday as coaches, but you best believe these coaches, it's a fraternity. And anytime one of your brothers go down at war, it just shows the character and the faith of these great head coaches and how they carry themselves in their program. So, kudos to all the head coaches. And, I just think they're doing a very good job.
Yeah, definitely. I just have to say that when you have a situation like this, I had a similar situation like this in high school. One of our band members, he went down the night before we were supposed to go out, take the field. It just does something emotionally to you. But still, it's a football game, but we're talking about we have a life game as well, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, guys, hope that everything goes well with him, his family going forward. All right, Coach, let's talk a little bit about what's happening with college football right now. We have, I will say, the alums over in Colorado, they're doing pretty well, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, Coach Deion Super D Sanders, and the D stands for domination. He's dominating the college football landscape right now. And let's not forget, Kyle, about Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, unbelievable talent, a generational talent. The way that he's playing lights out at the quarterback position. You got to give credit, though, to him in the offseason going in with Tom Brady and working out with Tom Brady. It's showing, Kyle. It's showing, when he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And the thing that the NFL scouts like about Shedeur Sanders, he can make all the throws. And so Coach Prime, I know he's happy right now in the position that he's in. But, Kyle, when you look at what's happening in LSU, when you look at what's happening with Georgia, Coach Prime easily could be in the national championship game.
Wouldn't that be something? Coach Prime in the national championship game, and that would make, what's that guy's name, Doug Goblin, who talked so poorly about Travis Hunter making the decision to be able to join Jackson State and calling Coach Prime a bunch of not nice names. And, you got, what's that guy, the big guy on one of those stations. He always wants to dog out Coach Prime, but they keep on winning and they keep on doing what they need to do, man. And kudos to Coach Prime as well as what's happening with his guys over at the Colorado Buffaloes. So can they keep on winning? We are supporting him every which way we can, right?
Right.
All right, Coach, who is the offensive player of the year for the SWAC? Could it be Javonnie Gibson, or could it be Irv Mulligan Jr., or could it be somebody else? What's your opinion right now?
Well, there's no doubt about it right now. The best player in HBCU, I have two. I just can't leave out the job that Eric Phoenix is doing at South Carolina State. And the reason why I say this is because you're talking about a kid that had to learn two different playbooks in a short period of time. And anytime you can do that and be in the predicament that he's in, it's going to be a big race between him and Irv Mulligan for SWAC, HBCU Players of the Year.
Right. Irv Mulligan, man, he has had, 4 straight 100-plus yard games.
Yeah.
139, 171, 141, and last week, 187 yards on 18 carries and a touchdown. Incredible. What he's doing is taking his game to another level. I'm sure the pro scouts are keeping a good eye out from Mr. Mulligan. And all I can say for the Jackson State faithful, in Irv, we trust.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Mr. Mosley. Irv Mulligan is an outstanding talent. He's going to be a sleeper in the draft. Jackson State next big draft pick. When you look at this kid and you look at the way he accelerates when he gets to the second level, he has that it factor. Big running back that can run, that can make the jump cuts. And, like you say, Irv Mulligan, we trust.
Yeah. And look, I just got hit up by DLOB 2010. If Pine Bluff had a winning record, Javonnie would be considered more. I think he's still considered. I don't think you can be able to overlook the accomplishments of Javonnie Gibson, who eclipsed 1,000 yards of receiving. I think he had 56 receptions on the year, as well as 8 touchdowns. So he's doing an outstanding job for Pine Bluff at this time. But also you look at Daniel Richardson, who was in the running. I think he was one of the front runners for SWAC Offensive Player of the Year until PV put some pain on those guys and knocked them out of the game. And hopefully he's okay. But it was a interesting game, and we're going to talk and a little bit more about what happened in that game. But I think Coach Bubba McDowell and those guys really kind of righted the ship after last season, after getting beat down like they were to Willie Simmons and those guys a couple of times last season. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was definitely a get back game for Coach Bubba McDowell and the Prairie View Panthers. They did an outstanding job against FAMU. Just didn't know it was going to be a blowout like that. But I think the teams now have Florida in them numbers. They're game planning around Daniel Richardson, and they know if you stop Daniel Richardson, you stop Florida in them. And that's what's been happening. And hopefully they can rebound. But you just have to give Coach Bubba McDowell and staff credit on the job that they did against him.
Yeah, Coach did a great job. And also, this was one of the more understated games of the season. And I'm going to tell you guys why. There's been a lot of pressure up there in Prairie View because they thought the Panthers were going to repeat as the SWAC West champs. They still got some work to do, but Southern is the front runner right now. Southern, I think they only have one loss in the conference, right? And they are really, if they got to win the next 2 games, especially that Bayou Classic against Grambling, but if Southern wins next week and Prairie View takes care of Alcorn, Southern wins the division, I think. I think that's the scenario that has to go down.
Yeah, Prairie View, I don't see them really having a chance at messing with really Coach Bubba McDowell. He's done an outstanding job there with less. And, I understand that when you are in the running for big-time quarterbacks and the budget is not there, let this be a learning lesson for Prairie View. The off-season is coming. Have your money, NIL money ready, because Prairie View had a big-time quarterback, and they let him slip away. You just can't do that now. I think they learned a lesson from it. I think Coach McDowell's going to start early, right when the season over with, and find a big-time trigger man to get them back in promised land, Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, Jackson State sits atop the Eastern Division, and Alabama State is right behind them. Florida A&M is next. Alabama A&M comes up after those guys. Bethune-Cookman and Mississippi Valley is at the bottom. Right now, Southern on top of the West. Alcorn State is right behind them, nipping at the heels. And then you have Prairie View, Grambling State, Texas Southern, and Pine Bluff at number 6. And, when we look at that predictive order finish, Southern was supposed to finish what, third? Jackson State fourth? Don't know. Don't know about that. SIDs as well as those athletic directors got to go back to the drawing board on that one, man. You know?
Well, a lot of people are really frustrated because they thought Alcorn was going to be there, and when you look at the talent that that Fred McNair left this team, there's no reason Alcorn shouldn't be in the driver's seat. But Coach Cedric Thomas he had to put some things together, and it's working for him right now. But it's fortunate that they let one slip away, and it could cost them SWAC championship.
Yeah, surely should be. I think he's done a great job being able to get these guys back up to 4-2 on the season in the conference, 5-5 overall. So right now, kudos to him as well as that program. I think they have found a quarterback in the young man, Mr. Vaughn, right?
Right.
Yeah, look, he was one of the national co-player of the year, of the week for, I think it was Box to Row. So good for him and kudos to him. We'll be back in a few minutes after we pay some bills, guys. So stay tuned and don't go away. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. I love rooting for the underdog, and this underdog you will love playing because they give you the advantage to win. Join the other 5 million happy players who have won over $2 billion on Underdog because it's so easy to be able to cash in on all of your favorite athletes' performances. Compete against other players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. For example, 2 of our favorite Heisman hopefuls who are also HBCU alums are Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders. Let's say Shador racks up higher than 2 passing touchdowns next week, we win. Let's say Travis gets lower than 2 touchdown receptions, we win. So just cook up the entries the way you want it to be and win real cash prizes all football season long. Underdog is the best place to play like a champion. You get to be able to download the app today, use the promo code HBCU Legends, and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Let me repeat that. You download the app today, you use promo code HBCU Legends, and you get $1,000 in bonus cash instantly? That's right. So HBCU fans, you can use Underdog Fantasy, join Coach and I, get ready to be able to win. You can do your pick'ems, you can do your higher or lower. It doesn't matter. You make the call, use Underdog. You must be 18 years or older, or 19 or older in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, and 21 and older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Or in Colorado, concerned about your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. And in Arizona, go to 1-800 Next Step or 800-639-8783 or text Next Step to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Before having to travel here to Jackson. That's tough on anybody, any football team. And my hat's off to him. Condolences to the school, the university, that young man's parents, and everything that occurred in that situation. They came out and played, though. Going through everything that they was dealing with, they came out and played their butts off. Played a physical brand of football in the first half, and they was right there in that football game. We made a few adjustments at the half. Irv Mulligan had a excellent game this past weekend running the football for us. Jacoby and Morgan played pretty well. Our defensive line got after it in the second half. So, like I said, hats off to Coach Wade and his football team. Yeah, it starts with, Coach Manning and those guys on the offensive line. We got a big group up there that are playing a physical brand. They're doing a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage. So anytime they can control the line of scrimmage, we can kind of keep the ball on the ground and keep the their offense off the field. But they have been putting up some huge numbers these last couple of weeks. Then we have some key injuries at the receivers positions. Our depth is not quite where we want it to be there, but we've got some guys out there. We dial up some shots that have been doing a great job. Isaiah Spencer, Jonas Fortillion, Janalen Dupree has been playing good football. But we just go out there and do what teams allow us to do, and try to take advantage of that. But I tip my hat to our offensive line and these running backs, the way they're, controlling the run game. Totally, I still believe in all of them. They were one of the top units in the country last year. They did struggle in that FAMU game, but I told them I still believe in them, and it's going to happen. You're going to have to continue to play. I'm not going to turn my back on you as a coach, and I know we brought you in here for a reason. That interception he made was a heck of a play. For him to make that play, he had a big tackle in this game as well. But just me continue to believe in these guys, and keeping their confidence levels high. Yeah, they're a well-coached football team. You talk about the Alabama State team. This was a team picked to win the East Division and also the SWAC championship. But Coach Eddie Robinson has done a great job building that program up. And that defense, it's a stingy defense. They physical. They got a lot of length over there. So we got to be play mistake-free football against a team like that. Us having to go on the road and play down in Montgomery. I know it's going to be a great game day atmosphere, but they're stingy on the run. They're very stingy with the run game, and do some really good stuff. Got some really good players over there. We run the ball well, so that should be, make for a great football game. But, hats off to Coach Eddie Robinson. He does a great job with that team. That defense is very electric, but we look forward to the challenge this weekend.
And Cameron McCoy at the quarterback position, Coach. He hasn't been there. You started off the season kind of rotating the quarterbacks, but now you've seemed to settle on just one. Mm-hmm. Will we see Cameron back at the quarterback position?
We're going to go with Jacoby and Morgan as our starter. That's how we've been, these last few weeks. We hadn't really finished our game planning for Alabama State this week. We'll complete that on today. So I can't make any promises on that right now.
All right, Coach. What's your thoughts there about Coach talking about his team going against Alabama State, which is a very pivotal game coming up this week?
Yeah, Coach T.C. Taylor is doing an outstanding job at Jackson State right now. He's clicking on all cylinders. And the Jackson State Tigers, they're going to be ready to play football come Saturday in a hostile environment. The job he's done with the run game now, don't have to depend on the passing game too much. He's just a well-balanced offensive machine right now. He runs the ball well, and when it's time to throw the ball, he throws it well. And that's what you want to have your team at as a head coach. You want to be balanced. And I can't commend him enough about the job he's doing right now at Jackson State. But, going down to Alabama State, it's going to be a tough environment. He's going to have his team ready to play. Just don't see Alabama State with enough in the gas tank to beat this tough Jackson State football team.
Coach Robinson has done a tremendous job being able to get Kareem Key to this point, his fifth string quarterback, who was their wide receiver, right, to be able to play at the level that have been playing. They almost defeated Grambling in Grambling this past week. They lost by 1 point. Do you think that's going to have an effect on them going into this game against Jackson State?
Yeah, first of all, great job by Coach Mickey Joseph taking his team in at halftime because they were down. And a lot of people thought that it was over with for them. But he came back and regrouped, and the G-men played great football that second half to seal the game. And of course, when you look at their Alabama State team, when the kicker missed the field goal, you saw some doubt in the team. But, I look at Coach Robinson, what he has done. You can kind of tell that they are in trouble if this quarterback goes down. They play a lot of conservative football right now because they're down to their last quarterback. And playing conservative is just not going to beat good teams. And so I give him credit for the job he's done right now, down to his last quarterback, but you can kind of feel the pain that Alabama State is in right now.
Guys, we want to hear from you, Jackson State Tigers out there. What's going to happen on Saturday playing the Hornets in Montgomery? Let's hear from you, Tigers. Let's hear from you, Hornets, as well. We want to see you guys in the comments. So let's listen to Mickey Joseph talk about his team.
Didn't panic, because we've been there before, and to continue to fight to the end. At halftime, I think the butt chewing that they were giving each other, really worked, because they was holding each other accountable. And I think that's hard, with this generation, that they don't hold each other accountable. But at that time, we were down by 2 scores. They were holding each other accountable, and I asked them just to play 1 quarter at the time, because I know they wouldn't quit. But I want them to be mentally strong for 1 quarter at the time. And we stayed in the fight. And finally, the kid missed the field goal. Probably was a chip shot for him. Don't know what went wrong with him. But the kids fought. So take my hat off to coaches and the kids. Well, most of them, coming from high school, they've been on this schedule before, where your Sunday has to be your Monday. So they've been on this been on this schedule before, somewhere down in their career. But the travel is what we had to really talk about, because it's going to take 7 to 8 hours on the bus to get there. So
okay, that's a little bit from Mickey Joseph talking about his kids as well as the win. Coach, he said he didn't have to chew each other out. It was the kids chewing one another out and getting on one another to be able to kind of spark that second half comeback that they had.
Yeah, that shows the character of this Grambling State football team. Everybody said, they had enough talent to win it all. They just hadn't been able to put the pieces together. I think the team showed a lot of ownership in that second half, and they just came out their second half a totally different team, and they played great Grambling State football.
All right. You Tigers at GSU, the G-Men. Y'all went in. Y'all did your deal. You guys playing Alabama A&M on the 14th on Thursday night. So that should be a good one in Birmingham. So we're going to take a little detour here. Coach, this past weekend, Morehouse had an uphill battle. I don't like what those Panthers did to my Maroon Tigers. But Clark Atlanta, Coach has come in and completely turned that program around that lost to Morehouse, and they were at the bottom of the SIAC last year, and now they are in position to go into the championship game against Miles College and be able to hoist that trophy should they win. What's your projections with those guys?
I think it's going to stop against Coach Sam Shade and Miles College. You look at what Sam Shade has done coming from the high school ranks. He's one of my favorite head coaches because, I just believe in doing it the right way, coming up from the high school ranks, moving up to the collegiate level. And I don't think Coach Sam Shade is done. I think somebody's going to grab him after this year. The job he's done in Miles, that program had been struggling for years. And for Miles to say, hey, let's take our $120,000 and go find him one of the top high school coaches out there. And they did that. And he's proven to be a force to reckon with in HBCU. So I just think what Clark has done is great. But when you talk about good head coaches, he's been doing it for a long time. One of my great friends, Coach Sam Shea, I just think right now, when you look at the job that he did, they going into Tuskegee, beating a good Tuskegee team on their homecoming is like I was talking to one of the sports writers this morning, it's unheard of. And, nobody thought that Miles would go in and beat Tuskegee on their homecoming the way they did. And
no, they dominated they dominated the Golden Tigers.
Yeah.
That wasn't just a beat. That was a beat
Right,
down.
right.
and they did it in front of what? 40,000+ fans that showed up, man. And that was a great sight to see how many people came down to Tuskegee to watch that game.
Yeah, very shocking. Talking to some Tuskegee alums, they were just shocked. I'm told that the fans were shocked. A lot of the administration was shocked. Tuskegee had lost a homecoming game. They told me over 20 years.
Well, don't schedule Miles. Don't schedule. Yeah. whatever you guys do, don't schedule Miles again. Morehouse, possibly, but not Miles, man. You can't even say Clark Atlanta any longer. So that's going to be very interesting. Now, look, here's the setup, and we're going to talk about this when we get back from the break. The CIAA championship, Virginia Union against Virginia State. Virginia State beat them this past weekend. It's going to be a rematch, and we'll be back in. I'm Coyote Mosley of HBCU Legends. I love rooting for the underdog, and this underdog you will love playing because they give you the advantage to win. Join the other 5 million happy players who have won over $2 billion on Underdog because it's so easy to be able to cash in on all of your favorite athletes' performances. Compete against other players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. For example, 2 of our favorite Heisman hopefuls who are also HBCU alums are Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Let's say Shedeur racks up higher than 2 passing touchdowns next week, we win. Let's say Travis gets lower than 2 touchdown receptions, we win. So just cook up the entries the way you want it to be and win real cash prizes all football season long. Underdog is the best place to play like a champion. You get to be able to download the app today, use the promo code HBCU Legends, and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Let me repeat that. You download the app today, you use promo code HBCU Legends, and you get $1,000 in bonus cash instantly? That's right. So HBCU fans, you can use Underdog Fantasy, join Coach and I, get ready to be able to win. You can do your pick'ems, you can do your higher or lower. It doesn't matter. You make the call, use Underdog. You must be 18 years or older, or 19 or older in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, and 21 and older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Or in Colorado, concerned about your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. And in Arizona, go to 1-800-NEXT STEP or 800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Okay, guys, Kyle T. Mosley from the Black Sports Insiders as well as HBCU Legends on Sports Illustrated. Guys, don't forget, follow us on Sports Illustrated. All HBCU content is written by myself as well as other writers, but we try to give you guys a different perspective. I have firsthand interviews with legends like Jerry Rice and other guys, and just we try to give you guys some unfiltered sports news at HBCU Legends. So follow us, and you can also go on to all the social media platforms at HBCU Legends as well. And you can follow me at KTMOZE, KT Mose on those platforms as well. Coach, let's talk about this CIAA. I don't know why we always do that. CWC. It's CIAA championship, man, and that's going to be against Virginia Union and Virginia State. The Trojans, they came out with the 1-score lead and win against the Panthers, but it's going to be the rematch. And usually with a rematch, people they get up for that rematch. Do you think Coach will be able to get his team up and ready?
Yeah, but I just think right now, Virginia State has been dominating that conference since Coach Barlow left. And I just think they are going to rebound in the championship game.
Okay. So you give it to the Panthers or you give it to Virginia State, the Trojans?
The Trojans.
You think the Trojans? Okay. So you think Trojans because they won the last game. They won the game just this past weekend.
Right.
I got to take the Panthers on this one, man. I think the Panthers are going to kind of look at some of the miscues that they had. They missed 2 open touchdowns right in the hands of the receivers, and they just dropped the football. I didn't understand it, couldn't understand it, not going to understand that. And I know those kids were kicking themselves after that as well. But let's kind of turn our attention right now to something that's been happening in the National Football League. Yesterday, Michael Parsons was asked the question about the future of the team, right, for the Dallas Cowboys. And he answered it as honestly as possible, saying he really doesn't know what's going to happen with Coach McCarthy, right? And let's just hear the take from a few of these guys on ESPN talking about what happened.
And last time I checked, the head coach is a Super Bowl winning coach. And I know the season hasn't gone the way that everyone is expected to go and all that. But for you to sit there in the locker room right after your team gets pummeled and to just undress your head coach in that manner, see, that's what's going on with all these podcast boys out here in the locker room. Everybody wants to sit there and they want to, spout and say all this type of stuff. There used to be a time when there was a little bit of respect, a little decorum in the locker room, because at the end of the day, it was about we didn't do enough. All of y'all got your asses kicked, okay? And you're going to go out here and talk about your head coach, basically your head coach not working, not doing anything to try to prepare the team? I just think it's a bunch of BS, man.
All right. You heard Mr. Woodley. He said that's a bunch of stuff, Coach. Mike McCarthy can leave or go wherever he wants. And that's what Michael Parsons said about Mike McCarthy. Do you think Parsons was out of line?
No, I don't think so. When you look at the job Michael Parsons has done with the Cowboys, he's a dominant player on their defense. But I don't think it's all on Mike McCarthy. I think Dallas has to regroup their front office, their scouting department. They have missed on a lot of key players. And I just think they need a real overhaul of the front office. When you look at it, I think it's too old. I think they need to regroup the roster. And I think it's going to happen with a new coach. I just don't think you could put all the blame on Coach McCarthy. But, when you talk about new coaches right now, you got to be looking at it. And I mean, it's out there. Everybody's talking about it. Will Deion Super D Sanders be the first African-American head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? A lot of fans in Dallas want Shedeur Sanders as their quarterback right now. And so it's a lot of pressure on Jerry Jones right now. He knows what he has to do to keep the Dallas Cowboys franchise at the top. And I think he's going to make the right decision, guy.
Yeah. Well, I will say just this. I think right now we have a different era where there's a lot more transparency going on. Takes from the media go viral very quickly. Michael Parsons is not new to the game. I think getting a little bit more in front of it by tempering what he says and understanding how some of the reporters are going to take things differently could be an issue there. And I'm a reporter. So, yeah, I will be one of those guys that probably would have gone and ran with the story as well. But those are some things that a veteran will have to kind of temper himself. Let's turn our attention to the MEAC right now. And Coach Chennis Berry in South Carolina State, They sit on top of the MEAC at 3-0 in the conference, 7-2 overall. NCCU is at 2-1, 6-3 overall. Morgan State at 2-1, 5-5 overall. Howard, Norfolk, and Delaware State bring up the rear. Right now, the game between Morgan State and South Carolina State is a very critical game for both schools. How do you see this going down?
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, but I don't see it being a close football game. I think when you look at Morgan right now, they're struggling. They had a shootout with Delaware State, and it could have went either way. But this South Carolina State team right now is just too strong up front. And if Eric Phoenix comes to play, and Coach Chennis Berry makes the great calls that he's gonna make, this team right now is playing lights out football.
Playing lights out football and leading in a lot of categories in the MEAC, right? But if the Bulldogs stumble against Morgan State, could we have that similar situation that occurred last season when NCCU looked like they were headed toward the Celebration Bowl and they stumbled against Howard?
Yeah, you could. It could go either way right now. I just don't see those South Carolina State losing this ball game when they go up to Howard and beat Howard on their home field, and playing on the road is nothing to them. They just line up and get ready to play. And this South Carolina State football team is so much balanced and ahead of everyone else. And credit that to Coach Chennis Berry. So, it's going to be a tough game, but I just don't see South Carolina State losing to Morgan State.
Okay, South Carolina State is going into the Baltimore area to be able to play Morgan State. Then if they should win that game and they head down to Norfolk State and defeat them, of course, they will be crowned the champions. But it's not simple as that, guys. We still have North Carolina Central that's waiting in the wings. Should South Carolina State fall twice, they would have to fall 2 times to be able to have a chance, right? And Morgan State, they have to be able to win this game. And after playing South Carolina State, their last game is against Howard. So it looks like either way it goes, this is a difficult game for either team. And I know if I know Coach Chennis Berry, he has his boys focused and ready.
Yeah.
So
that's HBCU Coach of the Year award. Man, Coach T.C. Taylor and Chennis Berry, this is going to be exciting. This is going to be exciting to see who gets this award. It's probably going to come down to the last play, huh, Mr. Mosley?
Man, it looks like it's coming down to the stretch. Everybody wants to be crowned the champion. Let's put this in perspective. Coach Chennis Berry came from Benedict, 2-time HBCU Division II national champions. A lot of people did not give him a lot of credit that he will be in this position today. And what he has done with that program, being able to get Eric Phoenix to come in and come back and join him because he left for Murray State for a season, right? And be able to have him back and who knew the playbook, who was an excellent play caller himself. So I just like that matching. And I think Eric Phoenix makes the difference. And I always say this, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have what, Coach?
You don't have nothing.
You ain't got nothing. So I just like that matchup. Look, guys, we are going to bring in our last ads before we come on back and go through the stretch. We got Coach Terrence Graves. We're going to listen to what he has to say, and Coach Bubba McDowell. But we're going to end it up after hearing from those two coaches. Again, put your chats out there. Let's hear your comments, and let's just take this home together. We'll be back. I'm Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends. I love rooting for the underdog, and this underdog you will love playing because they give you the advantage to win. Join the other 5 million happy players who have won over $2 billion on Underdog because it's so easy to be able to cash in on all of your favorite athletes' performances. Compete against other players just by selecting higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. For example, 2 of our favorite Heisman hopefuls who are also HBCU alums are Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Let's say Shedeur racks up higher than 2 passing touchdowns next week, we win. Let's say Travis gets lower than 2 touchdown receptions, we win. So just cook up the entries the way you want it to be and win real cash prizes all football season long. Underdog is the best place to play like a champion. You get to be able to download the app today, use the promo code HBCU Legends, and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Let me repeat that. You download the app today, you use promo code HBCU Legends, and you get $1,000 in bonus cash instantly? That's right. So HBCU fans, you can use Underdog Fantasy, join Coach and I, get ready to be able to win. You can do your pick'ems, you can do your higher or lower. It doesn't matter. You make the call, use Underdog.
You must be 18 years or older, or 19 or older in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, and 21 and older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Or in Colorado, concerned about your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, go to 1-800-NEXT STEP or 800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 Hope Line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right, Kyle T. Mosley. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yes, sir.
All right. Kyle T. Mosley back with Coach Daryl Steward. We are bringing this home right now. The top football teams in America in HBCU land. We have Jackson State. I believe they're number 1. They're the top dogs at this time. South Carolina State is number 2. Then you got several other candidates. You have Southern University, North Carolina Central, Alabama State, Tennessee State, Morgan State, Alcorn State. Coach, when you look at the landscape of HBCU football, I think you have to be pleased with what you're seeing and the parity that you see as well.
Yeah, I think, with our head coaches this year, it was a learning experience. But they didn't do bad. Some of them are just disappointing, had a disappointing year. But, all in all, I would give the year probably a C+. And that's simply because
okay.
I would give it a C+ simply because we had a down year in quarterback play. Let's just face it. And,
the quarterback play could have been a little bit better. Yeah.
Several teams, not just one team, several teams. And it shows the inexperience in the head coach because we talk about it all the time, Kyle. You don't have a quarterback, you don't have nothing. And, you got to go out and recruit a quarterback. It's just got to be a must. And when you scout these teams, you hear the coaching staffs. A lot of them are saying it. They, you can't wait till the season over with. First thing on their mind right now is, Coach, I'm looking for a quarterback. And so they understand that now, and let's just hope they carry it on into next season.
Yeah. Jackson State has 2 more games on the schedule like we spoke about earlier. They have the Hornets coming up, and they have Alcorn to wrap up the season. And the other top dog in the SWAC over in the West, you got the Jaguars, where they have Pine Bluff coming up, and they end the season in the Bayou Classic in my hometown of New Orleans, and it's going to be a good one. I think Biggie Joseph is going to be up for that, going back home. What you think?
Yeah, when you talk about the Bayou Classic, you can throw the records out the way. Both teams are going to battle it out for the win. And, let's give Coach Gray some credit, man.
Yeah.
You know, nobody thought he would have his team in the driver's seats. And one thing I can say about Southern University, Mr. Mosley, I don't care if you're Nick Saban, they're not going to lower their standards for any coach. They go by the motto of championship or bust. They know the type of money that they put into the Southern University program, and they lean on their sports. They lean on football, and they tell you in the interview process. They ask you, Mr. Mo, do you know what you're getting yourself into? And so
that's what my wife said.
Yeah. So I had to commend Southern University, man, for looking for a championship coach every year and letting people know when you're not in a championship at Southern University, something is wrong. And that standard that they carry, man, I just commend their administration and Coach Banks, the AD there, knowing that, hey, you got to be in the championship game as a head coach at Southern. And I commend him. I think more and more schools should look at that model and go by it as well.
Okay, let's listen to Coach Graves.
Because we have a very good UAPB football team coming in here this week.
5 overtimes, Coach. That's heart palpitations for the Jaguar Nation. That's near death there. What are y'all doing this week as you get ready to take on this it is pretty good University of Arkansas Pine Bluff team with Coach Hampton? What are y'all doing to clean up some of those mistakes from this past weekend?
Well, as Coach Roderick Fobbs used to say, we gotta scratch where it itches, and we got to pay attention to the detail and make sure that we're doing what we have to do, that we execute at a high level with a great level of efficiency and execution to gives ourselves a chance to be successful.
Coach, you sure have a.
All right. That's Coach Terrence Graves. I just got to ask you this one question, Coach. 3 overtime wins. They came to Texas. They had 2 overtime wins against Texas Southern as well as Prairie View. I think the one at Prairie View went, 5 overtimes. The one this past week against Bethune went 5 overtimes. It just looks like the Cardiac Cats are ready to take the SWAC. What do you think, man? I just seem like Coach Graves is on a trek for destiny.
Yeah, I had a chance to watch Southern University practice. They practice hard. The players respond to Coach Graves, but you gotta give Southern credit. They have a wealth of experience on their coaching staff. So most people say, hey, man, we're supposed to be in that predicament. And when you have several head coaches on your staff, you got to look at that at some point as an advantage. And you got to understand this, too. This is a young Southern University team with the amount of pressure that they're putting on these guys. When you look at Coach Graves and the work that they're doing in the front office, having this team prepared week in and week out. And you got to understand this too, Kyle. They're down to their 3rd string quarterback.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
Right. And so the expectation is there. The players are responding. And then, the players understand that. And that's what I like about what they're doing right now at the top programs and HBCUs, the Southern and Jackson. When your players understand, when we recruit you, we're recruiting you to win a championship. We're not recruiting you to come here and just go through the win. You have a big advantage. And Southern is in the driver's seat. And let's hope that they can pull it out and win the championship.
Jalen Woods had he prepared himself to as a starter, even though he didn't start the game. It just so happened his number was called and he was ready.
All right. That's an interesting situation. TSAT game, he didn't have the best game, but they brought in Wood over Noah Biden.
Right.
Interesting. That's all I would say. Interesting. Is it because Biden still has issue with his ankle or lower leg, or was it just?
No, I'm told that they're just going with the high hand right now. Talking to Coach McNair, he told me that they're going with the high hand. When they talk about quarterback, who's ready to play, and what best to get quarterback information from than Fred McNair. And like I said, that's an advantage of having head coaches on your staff. And Coach Graves knows that, and he's winning with that right now. And so I just think, man, the Southern University team is loaded with talent. If they are in the SWAC championship game against Jackson, it's going to be a sellout crowd.
Yeah, definitely. Could Prairie View make it to the FCS playoffs? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they can. I have no doubt in my mind. Both McDowell is doing a great job with this team. He has Prairie View relevant. You know, people didn't talk about Prairie View in the past couple of years. And he has Prairie View relevant. Like I said, the experience that they had losing their quarterback in the summer like that, I think it hurt them. But looking at their administration now, I'm quite sure, you've been hearing it out of Prairie View, they're going to hit the recruiting ground running. And a lot of these coaches now understand the importance of having a quarterback and getting them early.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get your predictions. We talk about the SIAC football championship game. That's going to be Clark Atlanta versus Miles. What's your thoughts?
Both teams are playing lights out football. Both teams have great head coaches. I just think when you talk about championships, you got to know the Cole brothers, man. You know, they've been in it a long time, and the job that LC Cole and the coach at Clark Atlanta is doing is outstanding, man. But when you look at what Sam Shade has done in his career, winning a championship on the high school level, then coming to Miles and winning a championship, he's a proven winner. And when these athletic directors are going out there looking for head coaches right now, and you say, hey, I don't have the big mega money and I want to go out and get a great coach, just look at the job Miles did. They went out and got a high school coach. Now they're in the championship. So it doesn't hurt to get a high school coach, especially if you don't have the money in your budget.
Yeah, well, I don't have the money. Let's get somebody good. The CIAA, you picked Virginia State against Virginia Union. I have to go with the Panthers. So I think I am in agreement with you on Miles. I think Miles is going to take. Well, you know what? I'm gonna flip that. I'm gonna flip it.
God, don't do that.
The Panthers.
Did you see the Tuskegee game, man?
The Panthers gonna take it. They seem like a team on destiny as well. They have to be. They're gonna take it. I have to support the Panthers, my AUC brethren there. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Panthers on this one, man. I know people say, Mosley, you're out of your mind, but no, I'm going to go with those guys. Morgan State versus Chennis Berry and South Carolina State.
Oh, South Carolina State all the way.
All right. I have to agree with you on that one. All right, Coach, not too many other big games other than I would say one that you got to pay attention to is going to happen with Grambling, those guys, and to see how they're going to stand up. Are you going to be at that game?
I won't be at that game. Got to go scout some more games. I was at the Grambling Alabama State game. And like I said, kudos to Coach Mickey Jones coming out in the second half. Totally different Grambling team. They responded well with the victory. And hopefully when you speak of Alabama A&M, man, and I say this, maybe we need to stop talking about Coach Hampton, because every time we lift them up, it was a shocking to see Alabama A&M go into Pine Bluff and beat Pine Bluff. I couldn't believe that. Yeah. And they did it. And so it just, I guess it's any given week, Kyle, you can get beat, huh?
Any given Saturday, not Sunday, any given Saturday, it's going to happen. So Jackson State and those guys, they are still on top. going into Montgomery. That's going to be a great game. I think that could be one of the games of the week that we kind of feature on HBCU Legends as well. All right, Coach, any last thoughts, comments?
Just want to, when you look at the Mississippi Valley incident, just want to tell the head coaches out there, guys, you got to get a niche on your players, because this could have happened to any team. And, just you want to make sure you know where every player is at all times, especially during the end season mark. It's unfortunate this happened, but you don't want this mistake to keep occurring in the conference. So let's do a great job of ending the season on a high note and keeping up with the players in the conference.
All right, guys, I'm Kyle T. Mosley of the Black Sports Insiders as well as HBCU Legends. We will be back on Wednesday night. That's Coach Daryl Steward. You guys have a great evening, prayers, and keep everybody safe and healthy. Take care.